Want to go from friendly chats to flirty sparks that lead straight to attraction? Every time? You're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to teach you 4 powerful conversation starters that will instantly create sexual tension and have women chasing you. Master these, and you'll never end up in the friend zone again. All right, let's dive right into it. First off, most guys make the mistake of thinking that getting a woman's attention and sparking attraction is this long, complicated process. They think it involves waiting for the perfect moment or crafting the perfect line after spending a ton of time in a conversation. They ask boring questions, feel around for safe topics, and spend way too much time trying to establish comfort and connection. But let me tell you something right now. If you're not flirting, you're friending. The longer you wait to build that sexual tension, the harder it becomes to shift the conversation into a flirty and fun zone. But here's the good news. You don't have to wait. You can spark that flirty vibe within seconds of starting a conversation if you know how. And today I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it with 4 easy lines that are going to change the way women respond to you. Each of these lines is designed to inject playful energy into your interactions, keep the conversation light, and set the stage for attraction. I'm going to break each one down, explain why it works, and how you can use it to create those sparks of connection that lead to much more. The first line, let me guess. Now, the first technique I want to introduce you to is what I like to call the let me guess technique. This is all about transforming the most boring, mundane questions that you typically ask at the start of a conversation into something fun, playful, and engaging. Let's say you're talking to a woman, and the typical guy would ask, "Where are you from?" Now, nothing is inherently wrong with this question, but it's just so bland. There's nothing fun about it, nothing that makes her smile or makes her feel anything special. And that's a problem because if you're not creating an emotional response, then you're not building attraction. But with the let me guess technique, you're flipping that boring question on its head. Here's how it works. You ask the question, but instead of just waiting for her to give you a straight answer, you follow up with a playful guess about what you think the answer might be. So for example, you say, "Where are you from?" "Wait, let me guess, you're from LA, right? And you're totally one of those green juice yoga at sunrise kind of girls." Do you see what's happening here? Instead of just being a regular question, you've now injected a playful vibe into the conversation. You've taken something neutral and added a fun twist to it, and here's the key. It doesn't matter if your guess is wrong or even if it's wildly absurd. In fact, the more playful and your guess is, the better. The point is that you're not afraid to be bold and playful, and that confidence is attractive. Now, let's look at another example. You ask, "What do you do for fun?" Instead of just sitting back and waiting for her to list off a bunch of things, you jump in with something like, "Wait, let me guess, you stay at home all weekend binge-watching Ryan Gosling movies, don't you?" It's fun, it's playful, and it gives her something to respond to. Instead of answering in a boring factual way, she's now going to either play along with you or correct you, but she'll be smiling while she does it. This creates an emotional shift in the conversation, which is exactly what you want when you're flirting. Because here's the truth. Women aren't attracted to facts or logical conversations. They're attracted to how you make them feel. The let me guess technique is one of the easiest ways to inject fun and flirtation into your conversation right from the start. And the best part? You can use this within the first few minutes of meeting her. It's a surefire way to avoid the dreaded interview mode that so many guys fall into. No more boring questions, no more tedious small talk. You're immediately creating a dynamic where she's engaged, smiling, and responding to you in a playful way. The second line, absurd replies. Now, the next technique I want to introduce is one that flips the script on the typical way people answer questions. It's called absurd replies, and it's exactly what it sounds like. When she asks you a question, instead of giving a serious, factual answer, you respond with something completely absurd and playful. Let's say you've just met this woman and she asks, "So, what do you do for a living?" Instead of saying, "I'm a software engineer," or "I work in finance," which is exactly what every other guy would say, you hit her with something playful like, I'm actually a secret agent, but I can't talk about it too much. It's classified. But if you're ever in trouble, just call my name and I'll come to your rescue. Now, obviously, she knows you're not a secret agent, but that's the whole point. You're showing that you're not taking yourself too seriously, and that confidence is incredibly attractive. By giving an absurd answer, you're showing her that you can be playful and fun, and that instantly sets you apart from the majority of guys who are all too eager to answer every question seriously. Here's another example. She asks you, "How old are you?" Now, this is a question that makes a lot of guys nervous, especially if they think they're too old for the woman they're talking to. But instead of getting flustered, you can use this as an opportunity to create a playful moment. You could say, "Well, I'm actually 145 years old, but I look pretty good for my age, don't you think? It's all thanks to my vampire genes." Or you could say something like, "I'm 700 months old, give or take a few." These kinds of absurd replies instantly break the tension and make the conversation fun. You're not trying to impress her with your job title or your age. Instead, you're creating an environment where she feels like she can laugh, relax, and enjoy herself. And that's key. Women want to be around guys who make them feel good, who can make them laugh, and who don't take things too seriously. Now, obviously, you don't want to use absurd replies for every question she asks you, or else it might start to feel like you're avoiding the conversation altogether. But dropping a few of these early on is a fantastic way to set a playful tone and build a flirty vibe. The third line, playful disqualification. All right, now on to one of my favorite techniques, playful disqualification. This is a killer way to create attraction because it taps into a very powerful psychological principle. People want what they can't have. And when you playfully disqualify a woman, you're suggesting that you two won't work out, but in a way that's obviously not serious. Here's how it works. You pick something trivial or silly and use that as the reason why you two wouldn't get along. For example, let's say she tells you she's a tea person. Instead of nodding along and agreeing, you could say something like, "Wait, you prefer tea over coffee? Wow, I was just starting to like you, but now this changes everything. I don't think this is going to work out." Or let's say she says she's a morning person. You could respond with, "Oh no, I'm totally a night owl. This is never going to work. We'd never be awake at the same time." Or maybe she mentions that she loves pineapple on pizza. You could say, "Pineapple on pizza? I'm sorry, but we're officially done. This is never going to work." Do you see how this works? You're not seriously rejecting her. You're using something small and trivial as a playful way to suggest that you two aren't compatible. And the key here is that it's playful. You're not making her feel bad or genuinely rejecting her. You're teasing her in a way that's fun and lighthearted. What this does is create a dynamic where she feels like she needs to win you over. She's not used to guys playfully disqualifying her, so it throws her off in a good way. Instead of her being the one to decide if she likes you, you flip the script and now she's the one who's trying to prove herself to you. And that's an incredibly attractive dynamic to create in any conversation. Another great thing about playful disqualification is that it shows you're not desperate for her approval. You're not bending over backwards to agree with everything she says. You're showing that you have your own opinions and you're not afraid to playfully call her out on something trivial. And that confidence is incredibly attractive. The fourth line, the love warning. All right, now for the final technique, and this one is pure gold. It's called the love warning, and it's a fantastic way to inject a flirty, confident vibe into the conversation once things are going well. Here's how it works. After you've been talking for a few minutes and there's some clear chemistry, you drop this line. "By the way, just a heads up, if you keep talking to me, you're going to end up falling in love with me. And honestly, I'd hate to break your heart, but it might just happen." Now, why does this work so well? Because it does three things at once. First, it flirts without being too forward or creepy. You're not directly hitting on her or saying anything overtly sexual, but you're suggesting that she's going to fall for you. And you're doing it in a light, playful way. This makes it clear that you're interested in her, but you're not being aggressive about it. Second, it shows a ton of confidence. You're essentially telling her that you're a guy she's going to be attracted to, and you say it with certainty. That kind of self-assuredness is incredibly attractive to women because it shows that you're comfortable in your own skin and you know your worth. And third, it creates a dynamic where you're the prize. By framing the conversation this way, you're subtly suggesting that you're the one she's going to be chasing, not the other way around. This is especially powerful when you're dealing with women who are used to guys falling all over themselves to win their approval. Instead of you being one of those guys, you're flipping the script and making her feel like she's the one who needs to work to win you over. Now, you can use the love warning line as is, or you can tweak it to fit your own style. The important thing is to deliver it with a playful tone and a smile, so she knows you're not being overly serious. And the best time to use this line is when there's already a bit of rapport and she's enjoying the conversation. If you time it right, it's going to create massive sparks of attraction, and she'll likely respond with something playful back, like, "Yeah, right," or "I don't think that's going to happen."